personally, my whole life, I've never tried. I don't say words like wishing, hoping, wanting. It's always doing, being, and having. When you say, I'm going to try to make a doctor's appointment, it could risk your life, because if you don't make that appointment, you may miss a huge diagnosis. So trying is a mental activity. Doing is a physical action. People hit their bottom when they don't have a choice anymore. I'm either going to die or I'm going to make this shit happen.
Welcome to Wham, Bam, Thank You, Pam. I'm your host, Pam Gaslow, writer, former stand-up comedian, and mastermind behind the 50-year plan to success. I also learned the hard way that you don't bring your vibrator to rehab, and wrote a book about it. Here we have bold, unfiltered conversations about sex, relationships, personal lives, and pop culture with a sharp, sexy, and comedic edge. Wham, Bam, Thank You, Pam is the wildly entertaining, no-holds-barred discussion you didn't know you needed. Hi guys, welcome to Wham Bam Thank You Pam. I'm Pam Gaslow. Today's guest is Carla Ondrasik. She is a former music publishing executive and creative mentor who built a career helping artists reach the top of the Billboard charts. As VP of Creative Writer Development for EMI Music Publishing, she worked with music icons including Barbra Streisand, Mariah Carey, Cher, and Christina Aguilera, and discovered Five for Fighting's John Ondrasik, her husband of over 27 years. She lives in Los Angeles, has 2 adult children, and her book, Stop Trying, is coming out on September 23rd. Hi.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again.
So great.
So we were just talking about how we met so randomly. I was living in LA for 6 months. This was like 6 or 7 years ago. And I went with a friend, to Laguna, to a hotel for the weekend, and we met in the lobby, right?
With your dog.
Yes, who has since passed away, but I have another little fucker. Literally.
Yeah, we started talking to each other. It was
great.
Yes,
it was very organic and sweet, and I liked you and I liked your energy. And we've kind of followed each other since then. And I remember speaking to you briefly years ago, and you mentioned something about trying, stop trying. I didn't really know what that was about, and now you have an entire book on that.
A whole book.
That's amazing. Congratulations. You spent a long time developing this no-try philosophy. So what inspired you to turn this into a book?
So I've been fascinated by success stories my whole life. Like, I love biographies. I love seeing how someone gets from where they were to where they are. It's just fascinating to me. What's the process? What makes them different? And I just think personally, my whole life, I've never tried. I just don't even see the roadblocks. I kind of go from A to Z in my brain. I just see the end game. And what I realized was that I don't try. I don't say words like wishing, hoping, wanting. It's always doing, being, and having. And I love motivating people. So it's a combination of just my life, who I am, my brain, my relationship to success. And I just kept writing. I didn't really specifically think, one day I'm going to have a book out. I didn't know what was going to happen with it, but I just had to get it out of my head. And it really evolved from creative visualization down to really determining that it is one word that keeps us from actually having a lot of our dreams come true. So, everything fell into place after it was about 10 or 15 years of developing the concept, but not knowing what I was going to do with it. And I met an agent. And she just said, let's go. We can do this. And then the rest is history. That was a couple of years ago.
Every time, I swear, you might not believe me, but every time since you told me about this, I have it in my head when somebody says the word try, it bothers me. Even like I was talking to my mom or someone like, I'm going to try to take a shower. I'm like, what do you mean try? You're going to take a shower? So I always have this in the back of my head. And I'm like, no, you're not going to try. You're going to do. And it's really... it's powerful because so many people like, oh, I'm going to try to do this, try to do that. That's like setting yourself up, right? For like not doing it.
It's yeah, and oh my God, I wish you could be in my head. Whenever I hear try, it's like explosions go off. Okay.
Of
I
course.
mean, I hear people at the next table. I can't even try clothes on in the fitting room. That's how crazy I am. I'll say, I'm going to put this on. And so, yes, like I'm going to try to take a shower. What does that even mean? Right.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. It's in everything. I'm going to try to call you back. I'll try to make it to your party. I'm going to try to quit smoking pot. I'm going to try to be a stand-up comedian. Like, you've done it all. You don't try, you do. But we do that. And sometimes it's really dangerous. Like anything that comes into my head in the moment, I'll share with you. But, when you say, I'm going to try to make a doctor's appointment, it could risk your life because what does that mean? I'm going to try to find the time to call the doctor. I'm going to try to get the paperwork I need to schedule the appointment. I'm going to try to whatever. But you know what? If you don't make that appointment, if you keep trying to make that appointment, you may miss a huge diagnosis. So it may sound little from I'm trying to take a shower to I'm trying to make a doctor's appointment, but there's big consequences when we try.
Yeah, I was just thinking about people who are like, I'm going to try to stop drinking. That's just not good. And I understand it's hard, and I understand this isn't something that people, that for a specific example, is not something people just, get immediately. But even just changing your language about it changes your thinking about it, right?
Yes, not trying doesn't guarantee success just because you say I'm doing this, but it guarantees you a better chance of success. So for the person that says I'm trying to quit smoking or I'm trying to quit drinking, we'll stick with that. What they're telling themselves is, okay, I'm only trying to quit drinking. So now I can lean on excuses. Well, I couldn't because I'm feeling weak today, or blame. Okay. I was at the party, but there was no club soda for me to drink. And I kind of felt pressure. So, blame everybody else for the fact that you had to have a drink at the party. And the biggest thing is there's no accountability. So the person that says, I'm trying to quit drinking, they don't have to do it because there's no consequences if they don't. They didn't say, guess what, everybody? I'm never having another drink again. Now, some people can't do that. There's obviously physical withdrawal and we need help and, addiction. There's the roots you have to get into, psychological and all that. But when that person says, I'm going to try to quit drinking, they're completely putting this blanket of protection over themselves that is allowing excuses, blame, no accountability, and failure right out front. Because I may not do it, but I may do it. It's so different from when you make a statement to the world and to yourself that you're doing something. And we all, at some point, hopefully get to that point. That's called rock bottom, right? People hit their bottom when they don't have a choice anymore. I'm either going to die or I'm going to make this shit happen.
Mm. This is like almost, this is never going to leave my head. And it's almost like becoming a grammar Nazi of sorts, because all you're going to hear now, I'm going to hear people saying, I'm going to try, I'm going to try, I'm going to try. And it's kind of like when you said you hear people at a table, like when I hear someone say those ones, which is not proper English, same thing, like my head blows up and I'm like, that's not a thing.
How do
But
you even
anyway.
say how do you even say those ones? Give me that
Those
in a
ones.
sentence.
People say it all the time. Like it's those. There's no ones. Okay. But that's a side
Oh,
thing.
so funny.
Oh, but yeah, this is gonna be like sirens are gonna be going off every time I talk to somebody.
Yeah. It's a good thing. That's part of the reason that it's the only reason, the whole reason that I wrote this book is because I want to flip our minds. I want to create an awareness that we've been misled and it's not our fault. We've been taught to try from a very young age. We've been taught to try our best, to try harder, try again. Our parents, they thought they were motivating and inspiring us by encouraging us to try. But we have to unlearn that, because trying is not even a physical action. And like I said, you're allowing all that crap in front of you, and you're not going to do your best when you only say you're going to try. So trying is a mental activity. Doing is a physical action. Our parents would be better saying, do your best on the test, not try your best.
Right.
And think of this, if you have kids, they're fighting in the back seat and you say, would you guys try to get along? Well, they're so smart. They're like, sure, we'll try. We know we don't have to. We'll try to get along. But if you said, you have to get along right now, or I'm pulling over, turning the car around, and the trip is over, they will get along. Two totally different suggestions. So, we tend to think that because we're taught that trying is brave, that it's something that's going to push the needle forward and get us to the goal. But it really isn't. Brave is doing. Brave is taking action. And so I really want to help everybody, because it affects our health, our happiness, our careers, our relationships. I mean, I'm going to try to spend more time with my partner. I'm going to try to spend time with my kids. It doesn't work. You're not going to do it.
Making me angry.
Yeah.
It's so true, but it's really powerful. It's something I think people don't think about, but just hearing you talk about it, it's like, oh God, this is all everyone says. And it's very weak, and you said it is like leaving you open to excuses, to failure, to not doing anything. So yeah, I totally get it. What are some key psychological shifts between trying and doing? Like, what are the most common blocks that people face?
Okay. So we try because we're so terrified of failure. That's like the first thing. Oh my God, I'm not going to say I'm going to do it, because what if I fail? What if I fall flat on my face? Everybody's going to make fun of me. They're going to think poorly of me. I'm going to let people down. And nothing could be further from the truth. Because think about anyone that that's brave enough to say, okay, guys, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm writing a book. And if we fail or fall, usually we're like, come on, keep going, cheering somebody on. Or I'm so impressed that you did that. You encouraged me to want to jump in and do something. So failure is a great thing. And you have to learn to embrace it, because no matter what happens, the fact that you decided to do something, you're growing and you're learning. And if you make mistakes, you know what not to do. So failure is a big reason. Saying no is another one. Like, you're going to love this. We will say, okay, I'll try to come to your fundraiser when we know we're not going to go, right? Or I'm going to try to make it Friday night to the whatever, when we already know it's the last thing we want to do. But we think that it's really mean. We think we're the bad guy when we simply say, no, thanks, I don't want to go. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. So we buffer it and say, I'll try to make it. But to the person that doesn't really understand what trying means, you've now planted kind of false hope in their mind, and you're misleading them. And it's twofold. Maybe they're going to wait for you in the back of their mind. Oh, they said they would try to show up. Let's have another, round or whatever. When you're not only misleading them and being dishonest, now you're stuck in your head with, okay, it's Friday night. I said I'd try to show up. Should I go? Could I go? I actually have the time. I'm going to feel so bad if I see them tomorrow and I didn't come tonight because I said I would try to go. You have all this going on in your head. But the minute you learn to just say no instead of I'll try, it's gone. Now you get to have a great communication with that person. You're being honest with them, and you get to go home and have a great night relaxing and not doing anything. And you're not thinking about and feeling bad about that you said you would try to do something else.
I am so frustrated with so many people in my life right now that I feel like I need like 5 of you to move where I live. So I don't want to kill everybody all the time. I'm not even kidding. It's so true. Your book includes interactive activities and compelling stories. Could you share like one transformation that really stayed with you?
This is a great story. So when my kids were younger, I would drive them to the bus, and at the bus was a park. So I'd throw the dog in the car, the kids would get on the bus, and then I would, walk around the park. And I used to see this guy, and he had these giant headphones on, and he'd walk circles around the park. We never spoke. He was in his, mode. And I always wondered, because I was in the music business, like, what is this guy listening to? Never, ever spoke to him before. So one morning, the kids get on the bus and he has the headphones off. He's like fiddling with something. And I'm like, this is my chance. So I went up to him and I'm like, hey, I see you here all the time. What are you listening to in your headphones? And he goes, oh, it's podcasts and motivational talks. And, there's so many things I'm trying to do and I can't seem to find the commitment to get them done. And ding, 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 the word try. So this is completely true. I looked at the guy and I said, tell me one thing that you're trying to do. Just pick one. And he goes, well, I'm trying to get back into swimming. We have the new YMCA that just opened with a beautiful pool, but I can't seem to get myself there. And I said, stop trying to go swim right now and go swim. And that was it. He's like, wow, okay. And I thought, I'm never going to see this guy again. 24 hours later, same time, same bus, have to get them there at 7:05. This guy is screaming across the park, I did it. I swam. I didn't try. He was screaming this. And he's still swimming. He quit his job. It's this roller coaster effect of wow. So think about it. Trying was a mental activity. He was thinking about, worrying about, wondering about, asking for help to go swim when all he had to do was get in the damn pool, right? Mm-hmm. So I love that story. That's one of my favorites. And he's in the book. His story's in the book.
Oh, I love that too. Isn't that crazy? Just like a random chance minute conversation and then you changed his life, you helped him. That's amazing.
It happens to me all the time now. People come up to me and say, you know what? I'm doing this now. I'm not trying. And it's the best feeling in the world. And that's why I'm doing it. Look, I'm 61, which is freaking crazy that I'm launching this new career at this age. I don't really need to make any more money. I'm not seeking fame. I want to change lives. I love motivating and making other people's dreams come true. It's what I've always done. And this is just another form of that.
I love this. I love this for you. I think it's incredible. You're very inspiring.
Thanks.
Let me see. So let's talk about overcoming fear and procrastination. So a lot of people struggle with fear of failure or procrastination. Like, what's one simple technique from the book that you recommend to listeners dealing with this? Because that is, I could list so many people off the top of my head that are just trying to do things. And I know it's fear. I know it's procrastination for myself as well. So, what's a simple technique that someone can use here?
Okay. So ironically, I just did a post, it's today on my Instagram account about this. So I encourage everybody to follow me on Instagram because I do like a daily hit. Maybe it's a story, maybe it's an interview, or it's part of like why we try. So I like to say, the problem isn't that you aren't trying hard enough. It's that you're trying in the first place, right? So we feel like we're making progress, but nothing in our life changes. And that's because we're constantly in the planning stages. Procrastination is writing in your journal, making the list of what you're trying to do. It's talking about it and thinking about it and planning for it. But none of those are physical actions. Okay. So when you're still in the planning stage, you're keeping yourself stuck and that gets frustrating. So we procrastinate because the thought of getting it done is so much bigger than when you get it done. So think about, your glove compartment in your car. Sometimes mine won't even close because there's just so much stuff in it. Okay. Like I don't even know how that stuff gets in there. I'll save napkins. I'm like crazy and I just
Yeah.
keep shoving. And
I
but
just
I
cleaned mine
struggle.
out and I threw away so many napkins. Go ahead.
But I
Ridiculous.
can't close the glove compartment. I'll just struggle with that forever. And then
Like
one
we're
day,
never gonna have enough napkins or something.
I don't know why. I feel like I don't want to throw them away if they're not used.
Right.
And, but one day I'll take freaking 5 minutes and I'll just clean out the glove compartment and it's
Right.
done. I've procrastinated doing that, for so long. And gosh, there was something else I was going to say.
I see a lot of TikToks like that. People are like, watch me do a chore that I put off for 5 months and it took 4 minutes.
Yeah,
We're all guilty of it.
it's crazy. So, now there's a thing you can do. It's a philosophy. It's called eat the frog. Have you ever heard of it?
Eat the frog?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. If you have to eat a frog, you do it first thing in the morning. And what that means is you pick the thing that you have to do that you are dreading doing, the thing that you are resisting the most, the thing that you are, pushing off and putting to the back burner. If you do that first thing in the morning, maybe part of your day is you have to input information, whatever it is that's tedious and you don't want to do it first, because guess what? Everything else is going to pale in comparison.
Right.
You've got the hardest thing done. You haven't pushed it aside. So if there's something in your life that you keep pushing back, get it done right away. And that's going to create momentum in your life because you're going to want to have that feeling again and do more. We procrastinate again also because we're waiting for the motivation to get started.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to start when I feel the motivation. But the opposite is true. Pam, this is a really big thing that I want everybody to understand. Motivation doesn't come first. The action comes first. And then you feel the hits of dopamine and serotonin and adrenaline because you've done it and you want to feel that again, those feel good neurotransmitters. So don't wait for the motivation. Take the action and then you're going to want to keep going.
And I don't mean to bring it back to sobriety again, but there's something I've been wanting to do. And I've been wanting to meet more people and try to make new friends. I'm going to say try.
Good girl.
And, lately I've been stuck in my head a lot. And I saw something that just said, just do something. When I'm always waiting to figure it out, whatever it is, which I'll never figure out because my mind is just like a circle of shit. And just take an action, like you said. And even when I had relapsed and I got sober again, I was like waiting to figure everything out in my brain. I'm like, well, if I just maybe had this or this was different or that was different and I wouldn't be, getting high. I'm like, no, you need to get sober. And then you to take the action. And I don't know, it just reminds me of that. Like once you take that action, everything kind of falls into place. But I agree, even going to the gym in the morning, it makes you feel good about yourself. And then you want to take on something else that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So,
it's easy to say, like if I was sitting in front of a group of addicts and alcoholics, I wouldn't just sit there and go, look, stop trying, just start doing. You can't do that. Yeah. So there are so many tools you can use. The first thing is it's like a superpower. It's like a magic elixir. It really is, because everything happens in our mind. Like we are programming ourselves. When we tell ourselves what we're going to do, our thoughts become our actions. And so our words are our thoughts and our thoughts become our actions. So when you tell yourself something really strong and powerful, then you're more apt to take action. So a couple of the ways that I would recommend anyone that's listening now that's like, well, how do I do that, Carla? Like, how do you go from trying to doing? Number one, start small, So if you are wanting to, stop drinking for the next hour. Like it could be that small, Get through an hour. Get through that first craving. You know what I mean? Start small. And in anything, whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to become a painter, go to Michael's and go look at the paint section. Go look at the easels and the paintbrushes. You don't even have to buy anything.
Right.
Just do one small action. Another really big thing that I truly believe in, I have a whole section in the book, and it's on soulful solutions. And one of them is the power of silence. Okay. I don't tell anybody what I'm doing. You don't have to share your dreams and desires with a soul. It's all in you. And when you start talking about the things that you want to do, you're giving that power away. Many, many people had no idea that I was even writing a book. They didn't even know that I had an agent or that I got a publishing deal, because I didn't want to give it away. I didn't want to subject myself to their input, whether it was good or bad. I just kept working away and I kept it to myself, and that was powerful for me. So, power of silence, start small, become aware simply of the fact that you've been trying to do whatever it is, but now you're going to do it, and everything will change.
Oh, wow. For sure. So you famously signed your husband, John Ondrasik, by going outside the norm, approaching attorneys instead of publishers, right? How has that entrepreneurial mindset evolved in your speaking and coaching?
People call me all the time. I mean, everybody from a neighbor who wants me to motivate their kid, to musicians that are out there now. I'm still mentoring young musicians. And so the first thing that I say to anyone before you go about making a dream come true and need motivation is gratitude. Everything starts with gratitude. The first thing is you have to go, wow, thank you for where I am now. Thank you for even having the desire to want to do what I want to do. Okay. Gratitude is amazing. So when you start there, you're going to be so full before you even begin. And I think outside the box. I don't do things the way other people do them. For me, to get a song recorded by anyone, I had to break down doors. I would call people at record labels and they would say, no, we're not meeting with you. You'll have to send your song to somebody else. I'd go to the office. I'd go to their office and say, I'm standing outside your office right now. I have this song you have to hear. And they'd open the door wide open, because nobody does that. You have to do things that nobody does. And you have to think outside the box and be willing to fail and have fun with it. Like, fun has to be a part of everything. So with John, I heard his voice. That's my husband. He goes by the moniker 5 for Fighting. I literally was in a meeting and I heard a voice through the wall. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's a radio voice. Like, where can I buy that guy's record? And they said he has nothing going on. And of course, I'm like, I can make that happen. I went from hearing his voice through the wall to having him on the radio.
You're talking about hearing his voice speaking or singing?
Singing. Somebody was playing a cassette tape. That's how long ago it was. I heard this music, but I went from in the wall.
So then he had to marry you.
Look, I don't know. It was more me that wanted to be with him. But yeah, I went from A to Z. It was, there's a voice in the wall that I think is on the radio, to I can get that guy on the radio. You jump over procrastination. You jump over excuses and blame. You jump over all those roadblocks. If you just push them to the side and say, okay, that's where I want to get to. So what do I have to do? It's a totally different path. It's amazing. It's easier. Like, why would you put all that stuff on you? For me, it's easier. So that's why I want to share all this.
For you, yeah. No, you are such a breath of fresh air. Like, you are so incredible. I mean, I'm so impressed. I keep getting more impressed. How did you find the agent for your book?
And I just want to stop here and say, I've seen you at the Comedy Store.
I remember.
And you know what? To me, that was the bravest thing in the world. I'm kind of dreading having to speak. That'll be another phase of this book, but I think I'll be okay. But I think
you're so good at it. Look at you. What are you afraid of?
I don't know. It's all in here. So what did you ask me? I totally forgot.
Now I forgot too. Oh, I said, how did you find your agent? Meanwhile, that show you came to in LA, that was good. That's the only one I don't have a video of, and I'm whatever. But anyway,
Really?
yeah, it was fun. That
Oh,
was a fun night.
it was so good. You were so funny. Like it
I
was,
remember
I
you.
loved it. Okay, so because I love reading, I would host these book events. There was a woman named Jill Daniel. She still does it. She has these things called Happy Women Dinners. And you go, you meet the author, they read from the book, you have a beautiful dinner, you meet great women. It was a fun event. And I started offering my home. I'm like, look, I'll host an author. And I did it a few times. And this woman, Jill, got to know me. And I said, yeah, I have this thing. I'm obsessed with not trying. And maybe someday I'm going to write a book about it. And so one day I had 40 women at my house. And Jill came into me and said, Carla, there's a literary agent here. She's in the self-help world and you should meet her.
Wow.
And I didn't go over to meet her at all. And
That's
nope,
not what I was expecting.
nope.
Okay.
And Jill came back to me an hour later and she said, have you met Dana, the agent? And I'm like, no. She grabbed me, put me in front of this woman and said, Carla has a great idea. She is thinking about writing a book. You should talk to her. And guess what I did? Nothing. I never called her.
What?
Nope. Didn't call her.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't call her. But the universe had other plans for me. And she called me and said, look, I'm really intrigued. I want to have lunch with you. I want to talk about this idea. So we met 2 or 3 times. And finally she said, we can do this. I'm going to get you a deal. So I signed with her, Dana Newman Literary. And then I had to write a proposal. Okay. A proposal is like a thesis. It took me 9 months.
Oh God.
9
Yeah.
months, especially in the self-help world. You need to, like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an influencer. I don't have a huge social media platform. I had probably 7 followers. Okay. But I did the proposal. I had the help of an editor about 3/4 of the way through. I just said, I really need help getting to the next phase because I've never done this.
Right.
And then she took 3 months and got me a deal with Post Hill Press, which is through Simon and Schuster. And then they gave me a very short time to finish the book because they wanted to release it in September. It all happened like within a year and a half's time. I was just like, oh my gosh, crazy.
So you wrote the proposal, and then based on that, they sold the book, and then you had to write the book.
Yep. Yeah.
How long
Within
did it take you to write the book?
9 months. I don't know when our conversation was, but they said our next release is in September. So you have to turn this book in by November because they need the lead time. And I just said yes, no matter what. And I shut down my life and I worked and I worked and I worked and I loved it. I loved it. It was
That's amazing.
so
Because
much fun.
I'm always curious, yeah, the literal process from an idea to the agent to the publisher, the whole thing.
I had an incredible editor, not through the publishing company, but I hired this girl, Marissa Solis, and she came over one day and we mapped out my entire book. I saw it, like we used sticky notes. It was the
Wow.
most incredible process. So it was part 1, part 2. I knew I wanted to do the book in 4 parts. So we had part 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we broke it down to chapter 1, chapter 2, and every chapter had all the topics that were going to be in it. So I have a picture of it. I'll share it with you one day, but there was my book. I would look at this wall and go, wow. And then that
That's
just
amazing.
made it so much easier for me to plug in all the details. And yeah, it's a lot. And then editing is a whole nother world, once you have it completed and changing things and artwork, the cover art for the book. I mean, everything is a new decision. It doesn't stop. I'm in the middle of it right now. Social media is so important and it's my weakest link, but I'm learning and I have a great team. Mostly I love that I'm learning new stuff every day. It's a big, big process.
Of course, yeah. What if a listener decides to stop trying and start doing after hearing this podcast? What's like a 30-day challenge or a first step you would give them?
So the first step I would say is to really become familiar with what trying means and ask yourself, pick one thing, 30-day challenge. This is the thing that I'm going to stop trying to do. First thing is you have to ask yourself, why am I trying to do this? Is it fear? Is it laziness? Is it excuses and blame? Like, what's my reason for not doing it?
Right.
And then pick one thing immediately that's going to begin your journey and start doing it. Okay. There's so much more I could talk about. I have a chapter called Try Babies. So I could say, if you knew what it was, a try baby is someone that just complains all the time about everything they're trying to do. And they want sympathy and empathy and they want our agreement. Oh, yeah, yeah, but no, you can't be a try baby. You have to get over that and wipe those tears and man up and start doing. You have no idea how incredible and exciting the other side is. It's just full of wonder and success, and other people see you differently too. When you start being that person, other people are like, wow, what happened to them? They're like on fire. It's
Right. And then they're going to want to be like, what did you do? Because I want to do that. And
yeah.
that's such a great feeling. Well, I'm really excited for you. What are you most excited about? The book comes out September.
Okay. You know what? I just want to, before I tell you this, I just want to say one thing also that's really important. I think making sure before you go into the do mode, what's your motivation? What's your reason for doing it? Your reason has to be really strong. So that's another thing. Really sit down and ask yourself, number one, why am I trying? And what's my motivation to do this? Because once
Right.
you have motivation and it's rock solid, that's going to be your touchstone. That when you're feeling insecure, you can always tap into that. Um, all right. I'm so excited. Number one, that Mel Robbins endorsed my book, which could be a whole nother podcast, and it may be the basis of my next book, which
Wow. Yeah,
um,
that's a score. That's incredible.
it's incredible.
Right. That could just
So
be the title of your book.
how did I
That's
get
your next book.
right? So I'm thinking this one is Stop Trying. That one might be Start Talking, because I met a bunch of strangers in a hot tub in LA, and that resulted in Mel Robbins endorsing my book. Okay, that's
Wow.
the quick, crazy, crazy
I need
story.
to go in more hot tubs. Okay.
That's it. Go to hot tubs and talk to people and buy a round of drinks for everybody. You can't even believe what will
This
happen.
is so not on my agenda, but anyway, yeah.
Or buy, a round of Coke for everybody. Um,
Right. No,
so
none of it. The hot tub, none of it. Okay.
Oh god. I do swim. I'm actually a swimmer. So after my swim, I jump in the hot tub, and that's how that happened.
And you're
But
not trying to swim, you're actually swimming.
I make it as fun as I possibly can.
Wow.
But I'm so excited about, you know, number one, I'm excited about reaching people with my message. I can't wait to hear people say, wow, I'm doing this now because I stopped trying.
Yes.
I'm excited to make the people that help me, all my support team, proud of me and
Mm.
really happy that they were a part of this. I just want to make them proud as well. And I'm excited about just stepping into the unknown. I have no idea what's going to happen,
Of
and I'm
course.
ready for it. The good, the bad, the ugly. So it's an adventure. I'm jumping in.
Well, I wish you so much luck and success with this. You already are. And I think your motivation is so pure and you're just like you radiate happiness and joy. And I love that because I do not. So
You make me laugh. You do. You do.
you're amazing. I think this was meant to be also. Like you're very inspiring and you're positive, you're upbeat, and you did this and you took the action and to help so many other people that are stuck and everybody's stuck, one way or another. And so tell people the book's coming out. It's called Stop Trying. It's coming out in September. It's on pre-sale right now. It's Carla Ondrasik. And what's your Instagram and your website? Just tell people where they can find you and your book.
Okay. So you can go to stop-trying.com. That's easy. Stop-trying.com. Or my name, carlaondrasik.com. And when you get on there, you sign up to my newsletter and you'll actually get a Try Baby test. It's a little test to see if you're a Try Baby.
Oh my
And
God.
there's links to buy the book, to pre-order it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or wherever books are sold. There's several links. So go to the website, sign up. Instagram is Carla Ondrasik, And again, it's daily hits that are really fun and interesting. That they're just like, we all need the reminder until it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So Carla Ondrasik, I'd be so excited if everybody stops trying, start doing, and take action, which would be to pre-order that book right now. It'll be in your mailbox on September 23rd.
Awesome. Yay.
Yay!
Well, this was so lovely. I'm so glad that we connected and made this happen, and I'm excited for you. And I can't wait to hear the next phase of what's going to happen. I could write the forward for your next book. That is going to do so much for your life.
Oh
I
my
mean, it won't be serious, but it might be.
I may take you up on that. I'm so happy that we met in that lobby, for a minute, but
Yep.
we are still together and connected. And I've loved watching your life transform.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's really special. So I'm grateful that you had me on your podcast and allowed me to share this,
I'm so happy to have you too.
Thanks, Pam.